The following is a presentation of the Best Station. The views and comments made in the following program do not necessarily represent the views and comments of the Best Station.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Comicasters Issue 5. I am your co-host, MC Brown, here with a special guest, fill-in guest, since Derek Ross and Colt Hudson are on assignment. Please welcome Dr. Eric Lenaburg, the Doctor of Baseball, will join us on the Comicasters. And many of you will recognize the Doctor's voice as he is my co-host on the Fast Pitch, which will be dropping Game 21, so big plug for that show as well. Doctor, I appreciate you joining us.
That's
here
right.
today.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Yes, you bet. So the Doctor's filling in. He's going to be kind of a sounding board slash specialist when we need him here on this show, which is Issue 5. And as always, we can be reached at Comicasters on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/Comicasters. And as always, all of our shows are archived on www.thebeststation.net, where you can click on the Comicasters link and find all of our previous issues 1 through 4, featuring the great talents of not just myself, but Derek Ross, Colt Hudson, my partners in crime. And unfortunately, they can't join us this week, but we're happy to have you, Doctor.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so we got some great news. We apologize for the delay in issues here. We're a lot of things going on, unfortunately, so we're trying to navigate the waters here. We got Phoenix Con coming up June 2nd through the 5th. And that's right around the corner. It's less than a month away now, Doctor.
Yes, it is. I will join you there, and it'll be my first Comic-Con.
Yes, this would be cool. That's going to be a lot of fun. So we have some big things planned we're going to talk about in the latter third of our show. But we're going to jump right into it, Doctor. We got a lot of feedback here. Hopefully you can help us out here on our social media round. So we're going to jump right into a lot of great listeners' questions here. The first one, message from... looks like from our Twitter, at Pat the Hat. And Pat asks, do you think Batman versus Superman is getting a bad rap, and why? So
that's a good question, very good question. And I see that it is getting a lot of negative feedback. What do you think, MC?
Doctor, I've seen the movie now, and I've been waiting for this show just to give my thoughts on it. And I don't know where a lot of this stems from. I think a lot of people are not particularly happy with just a lot of the stuff DC has put out. So there's a lot of people, I think, just huge Marvel fans, and a lot of it becomes I akin this basically to what you would probably from like the New York crosstown rivals in baseball, Chicago crosstown rivals. There's also a lot of the rivalry. I think just a lot of times people want to put DC versus Marvel. So I think a lot of people are either pro Marvel, pro DC, and in the comic industry, and a lot of that doesn't have to be that way. In a lot of cases, the way I look at it is like you don't have to choose a side. If you're choosing a side, let's talk about Civil War, which we will in a little bit. But I'm looking for a good, entertaining movie, and from my personal experience, looking at, I think Batman: The Dark Knight Rises, which is something you've seen, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I think that couldn't live up to The Dark Knight, so I think maybe the last time people seen Batman maybe wasn't the greatest Batman movie to finish up with, although a lot of people love that trilogy of movies.
I certainly did.
Yeah, and certainly Superman Returns, which was, I think, the 2006 or 2008 movie, get that exactly right, where they tried to kind of recapture the Christopher Reeve one. You've seen that as well, right? Yeah, that was kind of a bomb there. But Man of Steel I like. So, I mean, going off of whether you like Man of Steel or not, I think if you like Man of Steel and you're a Batman fan, this is going to basically get even better for you. If there's a lot of people who are negative about Man of Steel, you're probably going to come in here with maybe a wishy-washy attitude. So obviously I'm going to be revealing some spoilers. This movie has been out a while now, since it was the end of at the end of March. So
people are still going to see it, though.
So hopefully be warned a little bit if I spoil some things for you. I think it has one of the greatest scenes of Batman ever on film. There's a scene that's like straight out of the Arkham Asylum video games, computer games, and Batman is just cleaning house. There's without spoiling too much for a few people who hadn't seen it, Batman is saving someone, and he's going to town. This is pretty serious business. This is near the climax of the film, and he's fighting like you've never seen Batman on film. So,
okay, well, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's I know you haven't seen it, so I know it's Even though you're a guest here, I don't want to kill your enjoyment of it.
All right, thank you.
But it was a great movie to me. I enjoyed it. Some people didn't like the Lex Luthor, which was Mark. No, it's the guy who played Mark Zuckerberg. I'm thinking. We're looking at
Sarah Cena.
No, it's escaping me right now. I'll come back to him. But Lex Luthor's portrayal, being portrayed as he was on film, was a little bit eccentric, I think. I think for the fans' taste, it wasn't like, but Gene Hackman was eccentric in the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yes.
So, I mean, when you look at things like that, and looking as we do on that, looking at Jesse Eisenberg, is the gentleman's name, the actor. I don't want to get too much into it. We have a big chock-filled comic news section, and after our first station break, we're going to get into that, and I'll review Batman vs. Superman. But I will say I think it's getting a bad rap, and why I think it's just... to be honest with you, Doctor, I think sometimes just people just love and hate.
Yeah.
And
yes,
I think, I don't know what their expectations were of the film. I think mine were tempered a bit, obviously, but I enjoyed Man of Steel, so I trusted Zack Snyder, the director of Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, to deliver, and I loved Watchmen. So, I mean, I guess it really just depends on if you want to dislike it, you can find anything, but if you came in with an open mind, clearly this, to me... I don't think it deserves the bad rap it's getting. I think Batman's...
Okay, I wondered about that, and
yeah.
I will go see it with an open mind.
Yeah, I think Batman's the best interpretation of Batman I've seen on film yet.
Really?
So,
okay,
yeah.
that's a plus. I want to see that.
So we'll get into that more when we come back from our first station break when I kind of review the film. I'm going to get to the next one. We have a question, this might be a silly one here, from @Gorgeous George Harkness, which is the real name of Captain Boomerang. This gentleman asks, I believe, if it's George, a woman... not a woman. Would you rather face Batman in the day or Iron Man in the dark? What do you think, Doctor?
I think I would rather face Iron Man in the dark.
Yeah.
Even though I wouldn't be able to see anything, Batman would scare me anytime.
I hope
day
you
or
would.
night.
Yeah, I hope you would see Iron Man's eyes when they're lit up. If they're lit up. Yeah, Batman any day or night probably is gonna just pound your face.
Yeah, I think I could take Iron Man. To tell you the truth, even in his superhero costume,
suit of armor. You really think?
Oh
so?
yeah, nothing like. Tender spots.
Are you going to punch him in his heart, power charged heart?
I would do that.
Responsometer to keep him
karate
alive.
chop to his lower area.
Yeah, it's iron. I don't
well,
do anything.
You don't know what my hands are like either. Fists of steel.
Okay, we got the Hulk sitting across from me here, folks. @Big Ben Riley 47. If you could choose a superpower, wealth or invulnerability, what do you got? What do you think there?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I would have to go with. Oh boy, invulnerability.
Really?
I think so. How about wealth?
What would be the first thing you would do with that invulnerability? Like, you walk outside our studios and you're invulnerable. What are you going to do?
I would jump in front of a car, get hit, and then I would sue the driver.
Wow.
So then I would have the wealth and the invulnerability.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You're going to probably hurt that driver, though.
I'd try not to.
Yeah. I don't know. I think for the opposite reason of you, I'm going to use the wealth so I don't have to get hit by a car and hurt anybody, and I'll just buy a suit of armor, and then I'll become invulnerable.
That's a good approach.
See what I'm saying? So, Big Ben Riley, we have both different thoughts on it.
Good question.
Yes, definitely. And finally, Doctor, before we get into some other business here, I have a question from @Issue87, and this guy or girl asks, are you Team Cap or Team Iron Man? Talking about the Civil War movie that is going to open this coming weekend. Who you got? What side are you on?
I'll go Team Cap.
Team Cap? Oh, I thought you were going to be Team Iron Man.
Well,
so let me set up the thing for you, because
Okay.
I know you may not be as familiar maybe with either the movie logistics or from the comics. So we got Team Cap, who's pretty much in the comics is anti-registration. Team Iron Man, they want you to register. The government wants your real name, wants you to register as a vigilante.
Yes,
And
I am Team Iron Man.
Team Cap, which is the team I'm on. I'm not a fan of authority, obviously, so I don't want to register if I'm a vigilante, and I don't think it's any of their business whether I'm helping them fight crime.
Well, but what if there are superhero terrorists? I mean, this goes back to the Patriot Act we had in real life here in America. It protects all of us.
And I think that would kind of defeat, then it would be an oxymoron, a superhero terrorist.
Well,
Do you call a terrorist a hero?
No, I don't.
Then
but
he can't be a superhero
they
terrorist.
call
You'd be a
themselves heroes.
supervillain.
Okay, a supervillain terrorist. That could be out there, and why not have the government take care of that for
They
us.
probably want to make sure they can look into your background. You are very powerful if you have some sort of superpowers. Let's just say you are Captain America, for example,
Right.
but you were given your powers from the government. They gave you super soldier serum. They know everything about you already. So there maybe Cap had, let's just say, let's use Winter Soldier for example, from the upcoming movie. So maybe they want to quarantine Winter Soldier. Maybe they want to take him in. Maybe they want to take a couple other Cap's buddies in that they don't know anything about. Maybe they said maybe Cap's buddy is, let's say, Ant-Man, and Ant-Man they don't know anything about him, but they're telling Cap, hey, you need to register Ant-Man. He needs to register here, and he's going to work for us now. And Cap's saying maybe he doesn't want to work for you.
Well, maybe he doesn't, but ultimately he has to, and that's the way it is. I have no problem.
Maybe
with
if the government has their way, but if I'm Team Cap, and here we are, we're helping the government stop these terrorist threats. Now you're looking at us I think you're making problems instead of solving them.
I don't necessarily think so, because ultimately you don't want to have problems for all of society here. So you're protecting society by doing this. Even though these superheroes are pro-America, they're doing what they're supposed to do, but still, let's find out more about them.
In the comics, a lot of these heroes moved to Canada.
Well,
Because of this, I don't know if I believe Thing temporarily moved. I don't know if it was
to Canada.
Yeah, if it was him and Human Torch in the comics, but basically, yeah, we had so many of these heroes that were anti-registration. They were moving out of the country because.
Well, if they do that, then they need to apply for a green card when they come back.
I would guess.
Superhero or not.
But I think maybe the running theme in the movie, I don't know how much this parallels. I know that there's a lot of going back to Avengers and Age of Ultron, which are the first two films. There was a lot of destruction happening. So basically, I believe the running theme is they're going to say, hey, these superheroes need to be responsible for this destruction. But blaming them all, like they're either attracting or other, in the first Avengers, you got an alien invasion. So, like, all the destruction, everything's going on, you certainly can't blame Captain America, Iron Man. They were defending the world.
Okay.
So, like, now you want them to register. It's like, what do you want them to do? It's like, hey, we're not going to register. Save yourselves.
No,
without the Avengers, the alien invasion would have decimated the entire planet.
Well, I agree with that, but what do they fear? Why not register? What are they afraid of?
I think that's their own privacy. I think, their loved ones. What if that information gets into the hands of, say, a real terrorist like Crossbones, one of Captain America's villains? Crossbones gets access, and we see, whether it be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC, or if you see in the movies themselves, all this information is being stolen all the time.
Yes.
So if you got a whole disc, or if you got a drive, or if you got the Cloud in the Marvel Universe, let's just say, and it's got all these superheroes' names and real names, if you're a superhero, would you want your loved ones to be just plucked out of that cloud?
No, because if I'm a superhero, I'm going to protect my loved ones.
How are you going to be everywhere at the same time, though?
Well,
you've got your loved ones, say in Sheboygan somewhere, and you're over there fighting this invasion, and then Crossbones goes over and he just executes your family. Whose fault is that?
Well, that would be the fault of
the
me for not
Registration
registering.
Act. That would be the fault of the Registration Act. So, yeah, so it's an interesting discussion, issue 87. I'm Team Cap. The Doc is kind of with Team Iron Man once I laid out what was really going on. But this is, I believe that it's, I want to say exactly, but when we reach Civil War, the movie, coming this weekend, plug, which side are you on? Team Cap or Team Iron Man, fans of the Comicasters? We want to hear from you guys.
Yes.
At Comicasters, Twitter, Instagram. You can send us messages both places. Facebook.com/Comicasters or Facebook.com/The Best Station. Ask our great producer, Craig Best.
Best, yes.
We want to thank him, as always, for the platform here that allows us to deliver this show to you. And ask Craig. What do you think side Craig would be on?
I bet Craig would be on my side.
I don't know.
Let's
I think Craig would be on Team Cap, because I think Craig is a private man and he doesn't want them looking into his business.
Well, let's find out. Let's ask Craig.
We will
Is
ask
his
Craig.
privacy more important than the protection and privacy
When this
of all
show is
Americans?
posted, I want Craig to respond which team he's on, because I want to know.
I believe he'll be on Team Iron Man.
I think he's Team Cap.
We'll
if you
see.
ask me. So yes, we'll see, and we want to hear from you fans. As always, let us know and give us some feedback. We appreciate all your great feedback already, and as we said, apologize for our gap between issues here, but we're going to be rolling along, especially in this next coming month. A ton of news, Doctor, a lot of stuff going on. We're going to find out, because we're going to be heading to our first station break. We're going to hit you with a lot of that stuff. And but before we go, one of our favorite segments here from a lot of fans, we're going to go to the Riddle Me This.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Issue 5. So before we head to station break, fans, see if you can guess this one. Obviously, no Googling. So I'm going to give you 3 clues. That's the thing with Riddle Me This. And give your best guess. And after our first station break, we'll give the reveal. So here we go. I made my comic debut in DC Comics Presents number 26, October 1980. I am co-created by the great legendary comic tandem of artist George Perez and writer Marv Wolfman.
Good clue, and I still don't know who
Yes,
it is.
and here's the big one, Doctor. I've been portrayed at times as a hero and a villain, most of the time and currently as a hero. And that as a half spawn of my father who is a demon. Who am I?
This is thought-provoking.
This will be a good one, folks. So when we come back, we will do our Riddle Me This reveal. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. You're listening to thebeststation.net, home of the best station, the best music for the best audience. Now featuring the best podcasts for the best audience, with such podcasts as The Fast Pitch, starring MC Brown and Dr. Eric Lenaburg, covering any and all related MLB news and current events. And now featuring The Comicasters, starring MC Brown, Colt Hudson, and Derek Ross, on location for comic book conventions, reviewing comic book trades and collections, and anything and all related comic book movies, news, and events. This is a presentation of thebeststation.net. The best station, the best music for the best audience.
Dick Tracy, Wethead. Dick Tracy, the Dry Look. Clark Kent, Wethead. Clark Kent, the Dry Look. Shazam, Wethead. Shazam, the Dry Look.
The Dry Look makes a good guy look even better. And only Gillette has the adjustable valve to spray as light and dry as you like. So come on, hero. Get rid of that wet look. Get the Dry Look from Gillette. Aerosol, and now a liquid too.
Do you love fish sticks? Looking for the tastiest and healthiest brand? Then it's time for you to try Aquaman's, the fish sticks with a kick. Look for them at finer seafood outlets everywhere. Aquaman's fish sticks are a 100% non-fish product. They may or may not contain any fish at all.
Maybe it would settle me down because I think I talk too much sometimes. I know I have a lot of trades. I'm a jack of all trades and I'm good at all of them.
I'd sneak out for you.
You look very trainable. I'm looking for a real man.
To be the father to my son.
I'm a youthful 32.
And we are back on Comicasters issue 5, and we would like to get some of those Aquaman fish sticks, and that last public service announcement was brought to you by our fill-in, great doctor here, and we thank you again for joining us this week.
Thank you, I'm honored to be here.
Appreciate that. So we got to riddle me this, Dr. Eric, for this week, and this is a she. And she made her debut, as we said, all the way back in 1980. So this character is 36 years old, or almost will be 36 years old. In the coming months. She was created by George Perez and Marv Wolfman, obviously the creators of a lot of characters from the Teen Titans, which we'll be actually reviewing one of the DC animated movies here in a little bit. And it kind of ties in, as we always do on the Comicasters. Her dad is a demon. Her mom was a human. This is none other than Teen Titans character Raven. Raven is a prominent player, and we'll get right into our kind of comic news of the week. As we sit here, Doctor, we're looking at Justice League versus Teen Titans, the Blu-ray DVD digital deluxe version, which comes with a statue of Damian Wayne Robin.
That's a great That's a great package you put together there.
Yeah, this was available at fine retailers everywhere. This specific one available at Target.
Okay, Target has a lot of great packages like this.
A lot of great gift sets.
That's where I go whenever I look for those things.
So big plug to there. We know some great people who work there.
Yes, we do.
And support your local Target. You can get this Justice League versus Teen Titans. So I'm going to jump right into it as a good segue from our Riddle Me This.
All right.
And just to kind of review this, Doctor, we got a few different topics and stuff. I did watch this. This was a This is following the new 52 type of animated movies where DC basically is kind of keeping their continuity straight with these movies. They got new designs. I am not a fan of the Wonder Woman design in any of these.
Right.
As you can see, she's got a high collar. I mean, I know that's to cover up everything that's clean, but I kind of feel that there's some contradicting nature in this. They went this far to cover up their adult animated movies. This is kind of like, I would say still adult related. And she's covered up to the neck, but then you have the Suicide Squad movie in August showing Harley Quinn, and she's dressed like a piece of trash.
Yes.
Prostitute. I'm like, which way are you going, DC?
They overdid it with Wonder Woman.
Yeah, are you covering up everything like you are Wonder Woman in here, and she's got a ponytail? They basically, and it's not even a word, Doctor, but the best word, they basically de-sexified her.
Yes.
But then you objectify Harley Quinn, who is arguably probably more popular than Wonder Woman in the DC Comics universe right now, just because Harley's popularity is through the roof.
I think it's a complete contradiction.
I don't know what's going on, but just to kind of get off my soapbox on that's one of my not fans of. So they're continuing these designs, but the cool thing about this DVD, and this is spoiler territory for folks who haven't seen this. So if you haven't seen this, or you can pause it or fast forward through a little bit of this. If you're curious about it, I'll try not to spoil the exact total beat by beat of the animated movie here, but basically this movie follows the line of the Batman kind of series, which is a lot of these latest movies have been very Batman centric, focusing on Damian Wayne, his son. And I'm not the big fan of Damian Wayne, but he's somebody at the DC animated Warner Brother home video loves him. So here he is again. Basically, Nightwing is taking the former Robin is taking Damian Wayne on Batman's, approval to his on and off again girlfriend Starfire, who's a little bit older than a teen, but she's leading the group of Teen Titans in this, which consists of Raven, as we had mentioned, Beast Boy, Blue Beetle, and the final character. I think we're looking at that. He's not involved in it. I think, so I think
Blue Beetle's the last one.
Beetle, yeah, I think Blue Beetle's the last one. Okay, so Cyborg kind of gets involved with him a little bit later, but he's Justice League in the film. So basically, Robin, Damian Wayne, who's got a snarky attitude, he's kind of a know-it-all, he's a badass for a 10-year-old, whatever kid. So he's got to get acclimated. So, Blue Beetle, he's not getting along with. He almost... he's pushing his buttons, and Blue Beetle basically fries his face. Mm-hmm. So that's an early beat of the film. Raven, being an empath, and with her powers, basically, she can take away the pain. She heals Robin, and they kind of get a link in the film. So basically, a lot of what's going on here has this little bit of link between Robin and Raven. So they kind of get this
I'm a big fan of Raven.
Yeah, so they kind of get their little, connection throughout this. So what's happening here is Trigon, Raven's father, is making his move at this time. Coincidentally, he wants to take over this dimension, as he destroyed, as Raven reveals in this film, destroyed her mother's dimension, the one that raised her once they escaped the clutches, because basically, I don't want to say rape was involved, because I think this was a consent. This is obviously not R-rated either. Basically, Raven's mother kind of got seduced by the devil, so to speak. Trigon is a big demon. So, and then they had Raven. So she was being held, protected in this dimension, but she tried to make contact with her father. That was a mistake. He decimated basically this dimension they were living in. So it's safe to say he wants to do the same thing to Earth. So Trigon, with his powers of possession, he starts to possess members of the Justice League, well, notably Superman, and you can know what's going to happen. Obviously, somebody possesses Superman, people are in trouble, because and Superman is susceptible to magic, of course, and as he is in this. So as we run through this film here, it's, can they overcome? Can these teens work together? Batman, in a cool beat in the film, Batman basically injects himself to almost go into cardiac arrest to avoid being possessed by a demon. So smart move by Batman, but it puts him out of commission through most of this film. Right. So Robin, seeing that his father made that sacrifice, he's basically taken up this mission to bring this demon down. So Damian shines as usual, but it's very much, I think, in this, Raven is a central character to this, defeating her father again. And it's pretty cool, because a lot of people don't, who may not be as popular, that knew of this character in the 80s with Teen Titans. They may know her from the Injustice video game, and maybe not too much else. Maybe the Teen Titans Go cartoon, which was
right. And
was very
the Raven
childlike.
being more involved in this makes me want to see it.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
so I'm
for
a fan
sure.
of Raven, as I mentioned.
So she's pretty much the key to taking down Trigon. This demon, he's like 40 feet tall, and he's walking through. Nobody can stop him. The Justice Leaguers are fighting themselves. Besides the Titans, Cyborg is saved, so it's a pretty cool nod because Cyborg, who has become a member of the Justice League, previously a member of the Teen Titans, he actually is teaming up with the Teen Titans, Blue Beetle and Beast Boy, and Robin and Starfire. So it's pretty cool to see that teaming together, and just basically all this happens, and it's all up to Raven, without spoiling too much, to defeat Trigon in the end. And it was pretty good DVD. I think, like as you said, if you enjoy Raven, you're going to enjoy this. It's got its share of Damian Wayne, so if you're not the biggest fan of Damian Wayne, you still got to put up with him. Again, he's been pretty much a central character through most of these animated movies. But as we'll find out, I'll let the cat out of the bag. The next one is going to be The Killing Joke, which is pretty much the follow-up. DC movie is not going to be a follow-up to this, but it's the next movie. So there's a preview in this to Killing Joke, which is very good. I know that a lot of that is leaked. And Killing Joke is an adult themed. It's going to be kind of an R-rated film, and this is basically chronicles one of the most intense meetings of Batman and Joker. So just to kind of get into that, I'm going to give up my normal rating, a thumbs up for this DVD. I think or Blu-ray, this is I recommend seeing it.
Okay. I will see it,
and I hope you do, and hope
I
you
like
great
the
fans
storyline.
do. Yeah, it's definitely good. The animation is slick. It falls in there, like I said. Designs aside, it's a pretty good story. I think it's not the best animated movie, but it's solid. Yeah. So. But I think what everyone's going to be looking forward to is The Killing Joke, and it's Batman Joker. There's a lot of adult themes here. This is the story with Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, being paralyzed by the Joker, shot in the spine. Commissioner Gordon humiliated, very sexual natures in this. Joker is intense. It brings back Mark Hamill as the voice of Joker. Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman. That is the next release, and what's going to happen in this one, Doctor, is...
do we know when it's going to be released?
Everybody, I'm going to get that info for you guys. That is actually going to probably blow the roof off of probably everybody who's been wanting to see this for a long time. It's set to be released on August 2nd, and that's just days before the Suicide Squad movie, so August is going to be a big month.
Yes, it will. August is a hot month.
August is a great month. Might be somebody's birthday. So basically, yeah, The Killing Joke, the follow-up after for Warner Brother Animation, is I think a lot of us are looking forward to that one, so definitely some big news there. So. In other news, Doctor, just to get into it, if you didn't know already, obviously Daredevil Season 2 has been released. Mm-hmm. I personally have seen it.
What do you think? I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet. Have you seen Daredevil Season 1?
Yes.
Yeah, what did you think of it?
I liked it. I was a big fan, and I'm glad they're going into Season 2. That last show at the end of Season 1 kind of led right into a lot of questions. You're wondering what happened, so I'm glad Season 2 is coming out.
Heavy... obviously, Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, I love Vincent
D'Onofrio. Killed it as Kingpin. And I think, I'm going to say, hopefully, if you haven't seen it and you don't want to know anything, you better stop listening now. So Daredevil Season 2 does have some episodes that are very Kingpin-centric. So Vincent D'Onofrio kills it again, owns every episode he's in. It shows what he's done, and I think even probably more so than the Punisher, who makes his debut in this, and Elektra. Anything with Kingpin, I just ate up. So
yeah, and I love that. And Vincent D'Onofrio, anything you see him in across the board, any type of film, TV, whatever, he is fantastic.
And even from his young career, from Full Metal Jacket on,
yes,
it was CS? What was the not CSI?
Law and Order.
Law and Order. He owns roles, and that's just. He kills it in the season, and he's in prison through this entire season. Just the thing, and that's where we left him. Obviously, Daredevil had defeated him in Season 1, and he has a line in it that is just intense when you see it, and when the listeners who haven't finished the season, it's great. He's talking not to Daredevil but to Matt Murdock, and he's grabbing him, and he's like, he wants revenge on those two amateurs that put him there, and it's great. That was great. Punisher is great, and in big news, Punisher has been greenlit by Netflix, so Punisher is going to get its own. He's going to get his own season. I believe that's John Bernthal. I think played
Netflix.
Punisher.
Great job with that.
Elektra, I'm not going to spoil anything in there. You'll find out the fate of Elektra, if she's going to get her own season or anything when you watch Daredevil Season 2 without spoiling anything. She kind of reminded me a lot of Arrow's Nissa Al Ghul with the accent and stuff. Still beautiful woman and stuff. Maybe if or when we can see Elektra again, hopefully she'll look a little bit more like her comic counterpart. We'll see. I think everybody who sees Daredevil Season 2 and the scenes that he is in wants to see the Punisher.
Right.
And I think given how Bernthal played him in this, it was just an incredible performance. And I think we don't have an actual release date on the Punisher series, but it has been greenlit, so we know it's going to happen. And I think you're drawn into Frank Castle's story. Frank Castle is the Punisher, and I think maybe the season suffered a little bit because of its splitting storylines with Elektra and Punisher. I want to see Punisher's own series, and I think when you get through this season and you see what happens with the Punisher and you see who he encounters when he encounters with Daredevil with the Kingpin, you're going to see that the Punisher himself needs to have his own series to tell the story. And I guess John Bernthal played him, and people are going to hate me for this, but I haven't seen The Walking Dead, but he played a role as Shane Walsh on The Walking Dead, and he was also in the film The Wolf of Wall Street, and he kills it here as the Punisher. I think he has that quiet pain the Punisher has, and I think just for obviously the fans of The Walking Dead, which is
he's a good performer. I am not a Walking Dead fan, but he's a good performer.
Yeah, and they're going to lynch us now, but and I need to watch it. But Daredevil Season 2, I definitely give it, I mean, in my normal rating scale, thumbs up for sure. And I think you just got to see it if you haven't seen it, especially if you enjoyed Season 1.
Yes.
Like I said, I think Punisher and Kingpin are the stars of it to me. Daredevil kind of suffers for it because of it, but he does get some nifty weapons near the end, and it's a lot of ninjas. Let's just put it away. A lot of ninjas, and maybe not enough Punisher, but we're going to get our Punisher fill in the next series. So, just moving along on some actual other news, we're going to jump right into it. Batman vs Superman. We mentioned it in the first third of the show. And potential controversy. Some people didn't like it. It's made a lot of money, Doctor, especially grossing wise.
Well, yeah, and
numbers
just
for
with the title, I believe it'll make a lot of money.
Yeah,
when it first came out.
Yeah, this is DC's big time precursor to Justice League, and it cost a lot of money to make this film.
Right.
I believe this was into the billions. I think. I want to try to believe what it cost to make this film. As of early April, it was grossing into, I believe, we're looking at 700 million range for this film. We're trying to get some actual stats. So, yeah, in early April, it was about almost a month. Yeah, it's about a month ago now. It was at that. We're trying to get some recent stats, but it was grossing big time money. So it's obviously it's going to produce what I think I was looking for the number of 250 million. That billion is stupid.
That'd be a lot.
Yeah. So the budget was 250 million. The box office as of press time, record time, is 863.2 million. That's the numbers we had a server.
And that investment, that's why they put the money up.
So yeah. So here's the thing. Like, some people are asking the question, hey, is this a flop? I mean, a flop. I mean, if you're, and this is where I'm getting billions, if they're expecting to cross the billion threshold, yeah, it falls short of that.
Right now,
but it's going to make a lot of money in home video sales and everything,
home video,
too.
DVD, overseas, all that.
And what Warner's expecting, you're going to have to talk to executives, but a budget's $250, you make $863.2 million. That's a success. I don't care how you look at it.
Definitely in any market.
Yeah, what it's going to do in the follow-up, which is going to be obviously Wonder Woman is next, but this is leading towards Justice League film. That's the big thing. So. I think no matter how many people are saying they don't like it, people are going to watch it. And I think with Wonder Woman coming up, the next big DC movie, and then Justice League Part 1, this is where it's all leading to. So I'm going to warn some people of this. Obviously, spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen the movie, be careful. You have not. So
I have not, but I'm going to.
You're going to cover your ears, Doctor. You can.
Okay.
So basically, in this film, it follows the controversy from the comic, the real life story of Superman versus Doomsday. So Superman versus Doomsday only ends one way, and that's with the deaths of Doomsday and Superman. So if you're watching this film and things in there, you're going to expect that to stay very comic friendly to that. So you're going to watch the on-screen demise of these characters on there. So where that's going to lead Batman and Wonder Woman, are they going to form the Justice League? Well, that's where everything's heading to. So in this film, people are wondering, well, hey, this plot was all over the place. Why is Lex Luthor doing this? Well, Lex Luthor was a schemer. He always been a schemer, smart. As eccentric as Jesse Eisenberg plays him, Luthor is not only a schemer, smart, super rich. He has the resources to do this. Luthor is the puppet master, and he pits Superman versus Batman. Obviously, whether it be the jealous of Superman, he wants the technology, Kryptonian technology, to himself, which, there's a lot of teases towards Darkseid, which, is rumored to be the big Justice League villain, and Justice League, in this movie, Eisenberg's Luthor, basically makes seemingly contact with technology, and there's deleted scenes too that you'll see in the home video release that was leaked that will lead into this Darkseid encounter. So that kind of gives a little teaser towards that. And Batman's nightmare in the film, it teases an apocalyptic invasion. So a lot of this stuff is the seeds are sowed. So there's a lot of whetting the appetite. There's cameos from Justice League team members. Obviously, we're going to spoil them, but we'll let you know when you see the film. It's like you're going to see cameos from Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg, no Green Lantern, so without the rumors there's no Green Lantern in this film, and you're going to see obviously the debut of Wonder Woman in the film, which Gal Gadot actually does an incredible job as Wonder Woman. Her debut scene in there is very striking, very made for good cinematic debut. She makes her appearance earlier in the film as Diana Prince, who's like an artifact collector, and she's kind of like a little ahead of Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman. And speaking of Affleck, his character, he owns the role as Batman, I think, because Bruce Wayne is very tortured, inner turmoil. They show at the beginning, which is a lot of things that they're recapping what happened in Man of Steel, and you obviously see Man of Steel, right?
Yes.
So in Man of Steel, all this destruction's taking place, so almost to the point where people are complaining about the death. Never mind the death that's happened in a lot of the other comic book films. But here you have this destruction, and Affleck's Bruce Wayne is coming in there and he's to save a child, and it's almost 911-esque, and it's destruction and a cloud of smoke and stuff, and it's very powerful stuff, and it shows him, and he's looking up at the sky. He sees footage of what is Superman and Zod fighting from Man of Steel, and he's just got that contempt in his look. This is all over the trailers too, for nothing, anything new for the people, but this theme runs throughout the film. So Batman is saying and almost one of the heroes of the film would be Alfred. Jeremy Irons plays Alfred, just
Jeremy
awesome.
Irons, great performance.
Great actor, yeah, just awesome in his role, and he's basically telling him he is not our enemy, but he's so paranoid at the potential of Superman turning on humans, or the potential, which is going to be, this paranoia will actually carry over to Suicide Squad, which is released in August. The government, and naturally would be paranoid of superhuman beings. Right. So Batman has taken upon himself. He's like, I need to bring this man down before he brings us down. Right. And that's they're in the clash. And meanwhile, there's little schemes. Luthor's playing Bruce, Batman, and arguably people are saying, well, he knows that Clark Kent's Superman, he knows that Bruce Wayne's Batman. Well, it should be no surprise that Luthor is one of the most intelligent beings on the planet. He has files on all these super beings, and Luthor is Luthor. When it boils down to it, whether you liked Eisenberg's Luthor's performance or not, Luthor is smart, and he's arguably the smartest human being in the DC universe. So being the smartest man in the world, it wouldn't be out of the question to know. He's playing both of them. He wants them to fight, have the man take down the beast, and Batman is going to deliver the killing blow. but something stops him, and as we reach to that film, whether people joked about it in memes or not, this common thread, which I never really noticed before, this common thing shared between Batman and Superman, without killing it for the Doctor here,
right,
which will save this film for the characters to persevere, and that's what leads into the Batman scene, which he cleans house of. There's a I'm not gonna say cameo, but there's appearance by KG Beast. Not in his armor or Sans hand, but KJ Beast is a Russian, basically terrorist in the film. Batman cleans the clock of everybody, let's put it that way, in one of the greatest scenes, I think, in Batman's cinematic history. And it basically leads to all this time, through Luthor's schemes and manipulation, he has garnered the corpse of Zod, and he has transformed Zod through this, since he has access to the ship. Luthor has basically grafted the fingertips of Zod onto his own, and he creates Doomsday and so many things. So now you got Batman, Superman now working together. They're fighting Doomsday and having to bring Doomsday down. They needed a little bit of help, and they're in the debut of Wonder Woman. So you got the Trinity, basically Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman taking on Doomsday in this film, and that's where we get to spoiler territory. Someone dies. 2 people die, and earlier in the film too, it's not really explained. Supposedly, there's the appearance of Jimmy Olsen along with Lois Lane are there, and
that'd be great.
Supposedly, he also dies as well. So you'll have to see the movie Doctor. So is the real death involved and stuff? The tease at the end is I think it's safe to say. You got to watch the film and you'll find out where it leads for Superman's fate. There is some intense scenes, some. Suicide bomber type scenes, all stuff that leads from Lex Luthor. So you're going to talk about Lex Luthor being the star of this film. Him and it's very much a Luthor and Batman film, even though it's under the guise of Superman's umbrella too. And I give it a thumbs up. I think it's worth seeing. You got to make your own mind, never mind the critics or anything, and you got to see this film. It's just basically,
I will.
That's really no bones about it. So. Thumbs up for me, Doctor, and I look forward to your reaction too, so we can get.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a reaction too next time you have me on.
Yeah, and Doctor, takes off his earmuff so he doesn't hear anything else from this. So as we reach into the final third, we're going to go to our final station break. When we come back, we're going to have our regular segment, the Comic Clash of the Week. And we're going to do a little previews and stuff of some big weekends here in Comic World, and some of the upcoming events and some of the stuff that we have here on the Comicasters show that we have planned for Phoenix Comic Con as well. So, Doctor, we're going to head to our final station break.
Okay.
And we will be right back. You are listening to The Best Station, the best music for the best audience.
What are you doing? Pull up! We're too low!
I know, but isn't Wisconsin beautiful in the fall? Hiking in the cool, crisp air and so many pretty fall colors.
We're too low, Roger! The trees!
You can call me Kareem if you want.
Kareem? We're too low, Kareem!
Did you know I won my first NBA championship here?
You're out of your mind!
I know. Why did I ever leave this place?
You were young.
Tonight on It's Gary Shandling's show, the Sherlockers need a sitter.
Why don't I take care of Grant for a couple of days?
So why don't they ask Gary?
The one time he took care of our plants, they died. Yeah, but they were old. Maybe it was their time to go.
Can Gary return their son in one piece? It's Gary Shandling's show tonight on Fox.
And we are back on Comicasters Issue 5. MC Brown here with special guest fill-in co-host, Dr. Eric Lenaburg. Thank you again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So we got some big stuff. Before we get into our final previews, the stuff coming up in the weekend and this coming month as well, we're going to get to a regular segment, Doctor, a Comic Clash of the Week. And as is the norm here on Comicasters, we give you 3 choices of matchups on Instagram, and we post these. Also, we try to get some feedback from our great Twitter followers as well. And we had 3 different matchups. Basically, this was presented by myself, Colt Hudson, and Derek Ross. Each of us gave a matchup, and this issue's theme is male versus female, and preferably crossing over whether DC, Marvel. And in these matchups, we gave 3 choices. And what's happening in these is we had our fans vote. So they voted on by likes.
Right.
So when you like the picture, you're voting on the matchup. So please keep that in mind. Fans, when you go to Instagram, we want you guys to give us a like. So the 3 matchups, first from Derek Ross, was the X-Men Storm versus DC's Firestorm.
Okay.
So it was a pretty big matchup. Very cool. I'd be curious to know that one. Colt Hudson submitted Wonder Woman versus the Hulk, which surprisingly that didn't get the likes it is. The winner of it was my suggestion, Lobo versus Thundra. Lobo, the DC character, the main man, as he's called. He faces Thundra, which is kind of like Marvel's answer to Wonder Woman.
Right.
She has a chain instead of a lasso. She's super strong. She's called a Femazon, not an Amazon. Kind of from the future. So basically, I got some feedback from Colt and Derek. They're letting me know Lobo would win this one. That was their thoughts. We want to hear from you great fans as well. At Comicasters on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook.com/Comicasters. Let us know who you'd win. I'm going to discuss it a little bit myself. Knowing what I know about both these characters, Thundra kind of would be very close to the equivalent of Wonder Woman. I know there's Captain Marvel. I know there's She-Hulk. Very strong characters. Thundra's she's not afraid to cross the line, which Wonder Woman has been presented as much, and killing if she had to. But I think the ultimate mercenary, the ultimate assassin, space assassin, if you will, is Lobo. And if we're talking about original Lobo, if you cut Lobo and he bleeds, a clone of himself grows. Or more.
Wonderful, I like
with
that.
Every drop of blood. So if we're going by original Lobo, which we try to do a lot of original, I don't think anybody could stop Lobo. In fact, the only probably way would be to stop him, and Derek and Colt will appreciate this, being huge fans of Injustice, is Injustice Superman flew Lobo into the sun. So basically as he melts and tried to keep regenerating, he would not, because he would just keep getting incinerated. Yeah, which is a clever way to beat him. So unless you're incinerating him where he stands, he's just going to keep dropping blood. So it's very hard to stop Lobo. And even if you in some of the stories they kind of neutered him in some DC stories, even if you don't have that power, Lobo's super strong. Arguably one of the best fighters in the DC universe. If we're taking away that power from Lobo, it's still going to be a knockdown, drag down fight between him and Thundra. I think even for viciousness and stuff, whether it be the hook or his big knife, I'm picking Lobo in this one. And I think Lobo would come out on top. We want to hear from you fans, though. This is a great Comic Clash of the Week, and we thank you all as always voting. In the past, we had Black Canary versus Elektra, which is very cool. One of our previous matchups, and we're going to give you 3, of course, new ones with the theme we choose, obviously, in the coming days here on our Instagram and Twitter. So we want to, and if you have some suggestions as well, let us know. Even the doctor as well, if he's got some suggestions for any 2 characters you'd like to see go at it. I mean, if you had to pull 2 characters, let's just say, out of the hat, from the Marvel Universe and the DC Universe, from as a kid to now, who did you always want to see fight? So it's never would.
Let's see. I would have liked to see Batman and what was that guy's name? Batman. I guess I'd say Batman and Captain America.
Yeah, that's a pretty good matchup. That's back when DC and Marvel did their Amalgam comics. That actually did happen. A lot of favorites is Batman versus Wolverine. That would be a tough matchup. You got one of the greatest tacticians in comics in Batman versus a guy with a healing factor and adamantium skull and Wolverine. Coincidentally, Wolverine made a special guest appearance as we segue out of the Comic Clash of the Week. He made a special guest appearance in the last trailer for X-Men Apocalypse, opening May 27th. Some stuff is leaked most recently, and I'll try to post this on the Comiccaster page as well for all you great fans. They did a little bit of a spoof of In Search Of, the old Leonard Nimoy.
Yes, great series.
Yeah, and I think they had his former cast member in Star Trek who played Sulu.
George Takei.
George Takei, thank you very much. George Takei actually filled in for him in this spoof ad of In Search Of that followed En Sabanor, which is, as we know, the real name of Apocalypse. So they did a little thing, and it was very cool. I'm going to post it on the Comiccaster page. Very cool, kind of old school 80s. Even at the end of it, it says, find out at Friday at 11 on Channel 6, thing like those old little things they did in the 80s. So very cool thing, and that the film is based in the 80s, and X-Men's Wolverine with his metal adamantium claws. So how did he get them? Did Mystique from the end of X-Men Days of Future Past, did she make sure he gets his adamantium skull? That's a little bit of a question, so we don't know if he's a secret weapon in there, but just a lot of cool things that movie's going to be awesome. May 27th it opens, but to get into recent stuff coming up this weekend, opening up even in the Phoenix, Arizona area as we are, tomorrow night actually in most theaters, Civil War will open, as we discussed multiple times throughout the show, and Doctor will find out. Team Cap or Team Iron Man, we're going to find out who survives.
We're going to find out, and I will be right, as usual.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. So it's Captain America's movie. Civil War opens up. Actually, is already opened to $241.5 million overseas, Doctor.
Oh, wow.
So there's projected by the time we get a chance to even see it here in the States, it'll be at $275 million.
Oh, wow.
Pretty impressive for the film.
Real impressive.
For sure. And what we're trying to find out, Doctor, excuse me, is the actual budget of Civil War, and it's keeping this thing so hard under wraps. It's like, I've heard anywhere like the first Avengers movie cost $220 million, the second one, Age of Ultron, $279.9 million, and they've been so tight-lipped on this budget, we don't even know what it's costing to make this.
I guarantee it goes $300 million plus.
There might be a reason why they're not saying it.
Yeah.
So Winter Soldier had a $170 million budget, but there is a cast of who's who of both actors and just an ensemble cast of Marvel characters in this film, Civil War.
And that's another reason the budget's so high.
It has to be. So, yeah, we apologize to great listeners and fans, but, yeah, if we can get an exact number when Disney actually will release this this amount to us, probably when they make it, so they don't look like they have to make a certain film. But,
right.
Yeah, very strange that this budget is so hard to find. But this is opening, obviously, this weekend, as we were saying. Already opened overseas, and I'm going to personally go see it probably Friday, possibly on tap with Colt Hudson when he gets back from assignment, and probably on next show we'll probably have a review, hopefully. If I can drag Colt and Derek from their busy schedules to get them on here, we look forward to giving that to you as well, and it should be fun stuff. So both that, X-Men Apocalypse, May is the time to be a Marvel fan. This is some big stuff going on. Just a quick plug for great fans. Free Comic Book Day is this coming weekend as we record this, May 7th. And I believe that there's over 20 free comics and stuff, too, I think, from publishers.
Oh, I definitely want to take advantage of that.
So any comic shop is probably participating. They're probably having, maybe there's 200. Maybe I had that wrong. There's definitely probably going to be 20 I'll pick up, I should say. But supposedly all these publishers... are going to be, releasing so many free comics, and if you forgot about that, fans, you better get to your local comic book shop, and locally here in Phoenix, we got some great ones. Big shout out to such great ones as Drawn to Comics, which is in Old Town Scottsdale. Jesse James Comics moved to its new, it's a new location at 51st Avenue in Peoria. Dreadnought Comics, another great shop, is very fan friendly at 35th and Bell. And all of them are participating. If you search for them, big plugs out to them on Facebook and their Facebook pages. They're doing big time promotion, and you can hopefully get an accurate count of it. It's the 15th anniversary of Free Comic Book Day, and there's just going to be so many great things going on. Saturday, May 7th, it's going to take place at your local comic book shop.
All right.
So this weekend's going to be some great stuff. Great with Civil War opening, a great time to be a comic book fan in general. So. As we wrap the show up, Dr. 2, I just want to, finally, I'm going to kind of big plug, kind of officially let the cat out of the bag for Suicide, we're going to be hashtagging this, hashtag Suicide Squad Saturday, or hashtag SSS, as we'll try to call it. So with that in mind, we're going to have just a big kind of a cosplay event planned. The Comicasters is going to be spearheading this. Myself, Colt Hudson, Derek Ross, we have a special friend involved, possibly some more, and anybody else who's a cosplayer here locally in Phoenix that wants to be involved in this. This is going to be a Suicide Squad-centric cosplay team kind of group cosplay as well as / event. So we're going to be taking pictures, meeting fans, hopefully some big interviews. There's a lot of great guests for this Comic-Con, and we're going to be getting another show before this. So we'll run down the list of potential guests, and if we can line up some great guest doctors as well, we're going to be kind of networking with different people, and hopefully we'll have some great guest interviews for the first time here on Comicasters as well. So we have a GoFundMe campaign, gofundme.com/Comicasters. We're trying to raise money for Costomine and stuff, and possibly get some other people involved as well. So the cool thing with this, Doctor, is we're going to have a special surprise. There might be a a different version of Harley Quinn, let's just put it than you all are used to, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be shocking. It's going to be exciting. Where else can you find myself dressing up publicly for the first time as a great comic book
going
character?
as a fan. I want to see all this.
This is going to be very cool. We're going to be planning Suicide Squad Saturday for this would be, I believe, June 4th of the con, so that would be the second to last day during this event. If that's correct, so June 2nd, Thursday, 3rd, yes, so June 4th, and it's going to be Suicide Squad Saturday, so if any of you have some ideas, if you don't know which day you're going to go to the Phoenix Comic-Con, this takes place in downtown at the convention center. Right. You might want to get your tickets for Saturday, because you'll see us walking around. We're going to be doing a lot of great stuff, hopefully some photo shoots and stuff, meeting great fans, and the Harley Quinn will be shocking, let's just say that one. So it's going to be a lot of fun, Doctor, and hopefully we'll see you out there.
I'm going, definitely.
So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, folks. So, Suicide Squad Saturday, #SSS, #Suicide Squad Saturday, and follow us on Instagram, and you'll get some of that great news. And unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap it up soon, Doctor. So I'm just going to, thank you again, once again, for filling in.
I'm honored to be here. I had a lot of fun here today.
Yeah, so we're happy to have you here on Comicasters Issue 5. And as always, we want to thank Craig Best and www.thebeststation.net. Go to facebook.com/thebeststation. Personally, thank Craig yourself as well. We want to thank him for the platform, for bringing the show to you as well. We can be reached, as always, at Comicasters on Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/Comicasters. We're always posting great things, great questions, just awesome articles and stuff. As I said, we're going to try to get some cool things up like that Apocalypse ad, and just stay tuned here, folks. This is not the last you've heard of the Comicasters. We're going to have Derek back, we're going to have Colt back, and we're going to have some big things planned here in the near future. So as we race towards this month of May with a lot of great comic stuff going on into the con, I just can't wait to bring some of this stuff to you guys.
Can't wait.
Yeah, so again, I'm your co-host MC Brown, for our special guest, Dr. Eric Lenaburg. This has been Comicasters, Issue 5.
You are grooving to the dance jams, because you know good music comes from all generations and eras. Thanks for listening to the best station.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome to WTIZ, the funk record. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't know what I'm saying, just stick around. You're going to get it in a minute. By the way, I hope you bought your bath clothes, because we're finna bathe you in some funk. Oh no, it's not simulated, it's authenticated. Guaranteed to keep you coming back for more. If it's suckers, send this broken to you. You won't know what to do. Look on your face, gonna look like you stepped in it. Yes, you did. You stepped in it, didn't you? This broken marinade. You won't hesitate. Get off that ass and join in what you do. The funk record is guaranteed to please you, not to ease you, and for doggone sure not to put you to sleep. Now I won't play some, but I'm gonna sing a lot, because I got some things I gotta get off my chest, y'all, if you don't mind. Now, my background singers, I call them my suckers, so don't get offended when I say sing, suckers. Guaranteed to please, you understand? I also have a horn section, y'all. A horn section, they're a little out of shape and they get tired real fast, but they so funky I gotta keep their asses around. Hit the horns. Y'all know what I'm saying? Give me horns. Get your damn horns. I'm gonna put your tail on the track and make you run till you cough your lungs up. Get your hands on over here. Sick of you, Wilford, Alberto. By the time they hit you with the one and name, you forget all about your troubles. You know what I'm saying, though? Are y'all ready for this? Yeah! Well, sing, suckers! To you, you won't know what to do. You stepped in it, you stepped in it. Marinade, won't hesitate. Get off that ass and join in you with us. Won't you sing it one more time for me? Yeah. Whoa, yeah. Look on your face, gonna look like you stepped in. You done stepped in hesitate to get off that ass and join in right.